So this is the first part of our rocket mass heater. We're making a form and we're going to fill that in with plaster of Paris. That's going to be our first base. So basically what we did, we took some lumber, we made the form, and we're holding it with brick. And right now we're sealing all of the seams so that the plaster of Paris doesn't leak out into the floor. And so that's what we're doing for this base. So the dimensions of this, it's 16 wide by, how long was that? 36 inches long. And then them two flares out on the side, they flare out 4 inches and they're 16 inches long. And they come in 4 inches from that other end there, right where David is putting the clay for the plaster of Paris, not to leak through. Okay, so we framed in the bottom course, the base layer, and we poured it with plaster of Paris mixed with sand. So that's a 1-to-1 mix. And the other thing that we made sure is that everything was level. Okay, so everything is level there. That's very important that you do that. But there you go. That's our base layer. So what we're doing here, we're getting ready to pour the where the fire is going to be, the flue-like thing. And we marked cross marks there, and we're going to put insulation there, and that's where the fire is going to be sucking through sideways. Those insulation strips, we cut them at 7.5 inches by 24 inches long. And we just had that's what available for our form. And he marked the center of our base layer, and the center, you can see the lines on the center of the insulation there. And so then that way we know that we're perfectly in the center with this insulation. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to secure this with a cement block so that when we pour the plaster of Paris around this form, it will hold the insulation down. And that's pretty much what we need to do here to keep that from floating up. And our form here we made so that we have, what was it, 1.5 inches?
2.5 inches.
2.5 inches. And you can see how David puts it down there. Now, whenever we pour the plaster of Paris, we're going to pour it to the top of the insulation there. And that's going to give us our base layer with 2.5 inches thickness. And so that's how we're doing that. Okay, it's actually 2.25. And we just left the bottom mold, we left those in place because we just poured them like a half an hour ago. And the plaster of Paris is already hard because it gets hard really fast. But yeah, we have 2.25 inches all the way around here. And that is what we are that's our mold that we're going to pour to the top of that insulation. That's going to become our flue. Okay, so we had a little mishap here. We forgot to clay the edges here. And so we had some run out right there. It wasn't too bad. We kind of saved that, but this porcelain plaster of Paris sets really fast, so we didn't have time to shake the box. So we actually got some trowels in there trying to get it leveled out. We didn't do a very good job leveling it out, but we hope that whenever we pour the next layer, that we'll be able to, get it leveled out. Then we'll make sure that we use our clay and so on as we go up. So, but yeah, here's this. We've got to dig out that insulation. It'll probably be a messy job, but since we kind of poured over it a little bit, but we'll just see what happens here. Keep you guys posted. Okay, so David and I were pretty much able to redeem ourselves on this next pour. We had to add one more piece of 2-inch insulation, so there's like a 2-4-6 for the flue going through here. And then we just poured this next plaster of Paris right there, and yeah, it's doing good. So we was able to level this all up the way that it needs to be. And even though plaster of Paris really isn't that strong, it doesn't really matter because all this is going to be surrounded in cob, which is very strong. So that's what's going on here. We're able to level this up, and we'll show you the next step Next. Okay, now we got the insulation in there. We're getting ready to cut out the far sides. The one far side and the other far side, we're cutting them out, but we're leaving that center in the middle because we're going to form on top of it, because we have two cylinders, one coming over here and another cylinder going on the far side. This one's going to be where we feed the wood, and the other side is where it's going to go to the bell housing. Okay, so we ripped out the middle part, and basically we're going to put two more pieces of 2-inch insulation down on each side. And then we're going to take this 7.5 by 24 piece of inch of insulation, and we're going to insert it in there, and we're going to start making our cylinders. One for the burning tunnel that we feed in with our wood, and the other one where it comes up on this side to the bell housing. So this is going to be separated in the middle. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Okay, so here's our base so far. Just told you about, we put the insulation, that's going to be our air tunnel for the fire here and the exhaust over here, and then there's going to be stuff in the middle. But that's pretty much what it looks like so far. Okay, so we're making the holes up through. That's what the insulation is. So the last video we had, you know, the holes on the bottom there, but now we have a piece of insulation down there. And what we're going to do is, for this pour, we're getting ready to pour this up. And there's going to be solid plaster Paris right there. And then around these corners, you know, it's going to make our wall for us. And that's what's going to happen here. So the logs are going to go in here, go down through the flue right here, and then up through here. All right. So that's what we got so far. Guys, we're getting ready to do our next pour. And we're only going to pour 2 inches this time. And that's going to finish off this side where the feed is. And then you have your tunnel below that. Of course, we showed you that. But this is your heat riser. Okay, so this is the heat riser. And this is going up 36 inches from that 2 inches. So right now we have it at 38 inches. So we're going to just go ahead and pour our 2 inches right here. And it's going to come up here, and then there's going to be a barrel that goes on top of this. We're going to have a manifold down here, and then a barrel on here, and that's where your heat's going to come up through here, all right, through this tunnel here, and then it's going to be real hot up here, and then it's going to cool down. It's going to go down here, and then out to the ductwork. We'll show you how that goes. But this is what we got so far. We just kind of formed this. We made a wood form and then the cardboard, and we'll show you guys as we pour it up. But right now we're just going to pour 2 inches in here to finish off the feed side. And we put clay on the inside to seal all of the cracks and crevices so the plaster doesn't go down through in. And then we just mask tape, you know, where we cut the sides for the on the cardboard. And we leveled this all up, so now we're ready to pour. So we just poured this plaster of Paris, and it dries very, very fast. So you only have a couple minutes to work with it. So I'm tapping the sides, making sure the top is level. Make sure all the plaster of Paris up against the board. Just keep tapping it so that self-levels. Also, you get the bubbles out. And this is just how we did. We put those clamps on there for extra security. Don't need that in there. Nice little leaf. This goes in the sand mix. But levels up nicely, and this will be hard within a few minutes, you know. And that's one of the nice things working about this. And whenever you put one part plaster Paris, one part sand, it's extremely fire resistant. They make refineries with that. Okay, so as an extra measure, we put saran wrap around that. Hopefully it helps us release release it a little bit better. And we put nails in the wet plaster of Paris so that whenever we pour this mold here for the heat riser, you know, it's going to be kind of tied in. That's going to help stabilize. So we put nails all the way around, and hopefully that helps it stabilize. The Paris is getting a little bit hard. David's going to take out the insulation for the feed tube, and we just used insulation. I mean, you could have probably formed this like we formed this here, but we just figured since we had the insulation, we were just going to go ahead and use it and cut it out, and it's been working pretty good. Using an insulation saw there. A lot of roofers have this stuff whenever they're roofing on top of the department stores and flat roofing. But see, you kind of pull that out, and then we just have those down in there to calculate the space. You can see our clay that we put in to keep it from leaking through. We just rip that clay out of there. And there's our feed tube. You just rip that clay right out, and then you can reuse it. Here, I'll give you guys an inside shot of the rocket stove. So if you go down in here, you see it down in there. And there's the fire tunnel right there. Dave, can you shine the light down the tunnel? Yep. And Dave will shine the light down there. So that's kind of what it looks like. That's where the fire will be shooting through, and then going up the other side. That's the idea behind that. I'm going to come up this tube here. Now you notice how we constructed this out of staples and these little pieces of wood. Then that way, whenever it comes to taking this thing off, we can easily remove the wood down in there. And then we put saran wrap around the cardboard so we'll be able to remove the cardboard easily. That's the idea behind it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we have everything ready to pour. We got this, the heat riser all leveled up. And we're going to be pouring in here. This is like an 1.5 inch thickness all the way around. And then I put metal pipes down inside each one of them. And then we're going to pour this in 2 pours. So we're going to have 1 pour and then the next pour, possibly 3 pours. But this will help tie them together and secure it like I was talking about before and stabilize everything. So there we go. There's our rocket stove so far. We were kind of nervous that whenever we pour the plaster Paris, and it goes down, that was going to blow out these sides. So what we did is we took 2 boards, one on that side, one on this side, and we clamped them, and then we're just pushing the clay in to make sure that it doesn't blow out, because that plaster Paris is like water when it goes in there. So we just got to make sure that everything is watertight. Okay, so we did this first pour here, and we kind of had a little bit of failure. We didn't have any blowouts on the outside. We didn't think that we would have one on the inside because we already had this thing in place. However, if you look down here, you can see where the plaster Paris came through the cardboard a little bit. So in hindsight, we should have probably clayed that up better down there. We're going to be okay on the pour from here on out. I'm so glad that we decided to do it in a couple pours instead of just all one big pour, because that would have been a really epic fail. We had some leakage down there, but we cleaned it out and it's good now. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys our little mishaps as well. Okay, so we got all our pours done. And like I said, like with the inside here, if we use cardboard again, we make sure that we wrap it better in plastic, because that's actually what kind of blew out. The cardboard got soaked from the plaster and came in. But now we're leaving the frame on, the outside frame. We're going to take this inside out, this little frame that we stapled together, and then the cardboard. We're going to pull that out now. Okay, so we got all the wood out of here. Now we're working on taking the cardboard out, nice and gently. We got saran wrap on there, really helping us out. So, okay, well, we got the inside as clean as we're going to get it, and we're just going to let the when we light a fire in here, let it melt that plastic and burn the little pieces of cardboard that we have in there. But that's what it looks like down in there. And we're getting ready to take off this so we can see what it looks like, and then maybe correct any errors that we have. Okay, this is our complete mass rocket stove, and David's just going around smoothing everything out. Looks pretty good. So yeah, that's it. That's plaster of Paris and sand. 1 part plaster Paris, 1 part sand, and that's what when we poured that form, it looks pretty good. Okay, so we're getting ready to make the manifold that goes over the heat riser down on the bottom over there. And we're going to be cutting out a big rectangle like this so that we can put it down over there. But the issue is we have another barrel that's going to sit on top of this, which is called the bell, and the bell housing. And so what our idea is, we're slicing this down. We're going to move this in so that when we put the barrel down over top, it sits on top of this barrel. The smoke will, of course, rise up through the center. So that's our idea. If we have to, we'll put insulation around it, ceramic blanket insulation, but we don't know if we need to. But during our test burn, we're going to see if we get any smoke out of it. So here we see we drew out the pattern for this manifold that's going to slip down on top of that right there. So then it sits right on those pads that we have down there that we started at the outset when we laid the base layer. So that's what I'm getting ready to cut out now with an angle grinder. Here's a couple important notes. So this thing is 38 inches from the pad to the top of here. But in order for you to get maximum heat, we have to have 2 inches of clearance. So the heat comes up here and it flows down the bell housing through the manifold, and it's going to go out to the ductwork. But we have to have 2 inches of rise right here exactly for maximum, airflow. So it's be sucking in here through the down the feed through the fire tunnel, up the heat riser. Okay, and it gets up here, it's going to be really hot, and then the cool air is going to go down inside the bell housing down to the manifold and out through the exhaust that we're getting ready to install. But we're doing this right now. Okay, so we cut out this manifold piece and slid it down on there, and it fits like a glove. It's great. Now everything right here in the seams and stuff, this is all going to be filled with cob. Cob is a soil and straw mixture, and we have that. We're going to mix it in our mixer outside. But the important things is right here you want to have at least 2 inches or more, and we definitely have that. And this is where the air is going to come out the top, the hot air, and it's going to circulate, and it's going to go down there and then out through our ductwork. So that's the idea of this mass rocket stove. And the other thing is, like I told you before, we have to have 2 inches of clearance. So with our other barrel, we're going to cut it off so it slides down over top of this, but we want to have at least 2 inches at the top here. Okay, this barrel here is going to be our bell housing, but as you can see, it's covered in paint. We need to burn all that paint off. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it out to fit, and then we're going to light a hot fire in it and burn out all that paint. Then that way, any paint fumes that would come off that into the house won't be there because we'll have it all burned off. So that's what's going on here. So it's very important that you get all the paint off these barrels. Okay, so this is how you get rid of that paint. You can see it's all turning dark because all the paint's burning off. So you put a hot fire in there, keep making it as hot as you can. and it'll get rid of all that paint for you. So that's how you get the paint off those barrels. So what we have at the bottom there is charcoal. Then we put some wood on top and then some pine tar pitch. And that's going to get this barrel really, really hot. So that's our method to burn the paint off. We also have a blower to help us with the airflow to get it nice and hot. And that's what Dave's doing here with this. So now to accelerate the process and get the sides better and the bottom better, we flipped it on its side. And so we're going to keep feeding it from there, give it some airflow because we've got to get this paint burned off the bottom. And you can see it's smoking right there. That's the paint coming off. So that's exactly what we want. Now we're rolling the barrel to get the paint on the other side. Right there you can see where we still have some paint that needs to burn off. The rest of that darker stuff, that's just ash from the paint, so we can wire wheel that. But yeah, that's burning off quite nicely. And we need the bottom burned as well. We might end up wire wheeling that. So what we're doing here is getting the rest of the paint off. We burned it out. It dissolved all the toxins, but we're just finishing removing whatever little bit might be left. So here we got the manifold in place. Well, we cut it out and we cut those slivers and we're getting ready to put the bell on now. Bell housing. And that is the heat riser that you're seeing right there. Now when you order your pipe, your HVAC pipe, they're going to come like this. And you have to put them together. So if you look at these, they pretty much fit kind of like a puzzle. That tab goes inside that other tab there. See if I get the focus. Go ahead. They kind of like snap into place. Just like that. And that's your 8-inch pipe. So we're going to put all our pipe together so we can lay it out. Okay, now we're installing the ductwork for our mass rocket stove. You notice how it's coming out the bottom. So the fire goes in there. It goes up the heat riser inside this barrel to the top. Gets heated up, cools down, comes down. Goes out this 8-inch pipe, HVAC. Goes clear to the back. There's a clean out here. And there's going to be a clean out here of ash. Ironically, you only have to clean these out once a year because they really don't get that much ash and you don't have to worry about creosote. But it goes through here and then it goes back through there and then it's going to go out the wall right there up to the chimney. And by the time it heats the chimney, the maximum degrees is like 200 degrees by the time it goes through all this. But this is the rocket stove and the mass heater is, we're going to be covering this all with cob. And we're going to show you how to make that too. And cob, what cob does is it's like a battery or a thermal battery. And what it does is it radiates heat from all of this. And it stores the heat and so it releases it through your house. Now this doesn't heat just one room. This heats your entire house. So anyway, we'll keep you guys posted. Okay, we started this cobbing process. Basically this is sand, clay, and straw. And that's just all that is, and it's in everybody's yard. And you can see David here, he's working the cob in. Basically it's just dirt. And that's going to be our thermal battery. That's what's going to radiate the heat from the rocket stove. Here's the rocket stove and the mass heater. It goes out there. And I'll take you guys outside and show you what we did there for the stack. But, and then we made a little cap there. Put the date on. But yeah, it's interesting because we were standing outside and it's already sucking in the cold air, which was kind of crazy. We're blowing out the cold air. But yeah, because it's hotter outside. I don't know how that works. But anyway, I'll take you outside and show you what we did out there. So this is the other side, and we have the ductwork going through a block down there, right into here. And it goes up and up and up and up. And that's our chimney. And we just made sure that everything was level. And It'll suck the air. There will be a big draft that gets pulled up out of here, especially whenever it's hot air inside and cold air outside, so it'll do a real big suck. That's it. I'll show you how this cob is made. We just make little bits of a time in our cement mixer. They say it's better to have a mortar mixer because it has the paddles that mixes in better, but we just add the stuff slowly and it seems to be doing pretty good. I'll show you that process here. Good thing about this mass heater, you can actually, you know, to not conserve on cob, but just be more efficient with your work, is use blocks, bricks, and stone right in with the heater, because all these things will operate just like the cob will, and being real thermal and everything. One thing I think I should say before we go any further, you notice how it comes out of here, out of the manifold, okay? And this rises, it continues to rise all through the serpentine here, and its highest point on the wall's over there, and it takes off and shoots straight up. So you want this to gradually rise a few inches. These caps that we have on here, these are to clean out. So, you know, you can clean out your pipe. Everywhere you have a 90-degree angle, you should have a clean out. So there's a clean out there, there's a clean out there, and there's a clean out right there. So, and they say you only have to do it like once a year, like I was telling you before. But the other thing, you want to make sure you don't touch the brick or your other block material against the pipe. Use the cob to go against that. So this is our soil and clay mixture. Get it right out of our yard. And we're going to take it and we're going to put it in the mixer and turn the mixer on. We're going to get it so, you know, we see little round balls in there. And then we're going to add straw to it. And voila, you have a cob. The mixture is a little bit too wet, I think. Okay guys, we just put some paper in there. We're getting ready to test the rocket stove right now. This is called a test burn. We're going to check for leaks and stuff and kind of seal it up. Here you go, Dave. You can do the honors because Dave's getting ready to go to college tomorrow. Let's see what happens here. I just have some cardboard in there right now. Looks like it's coming straight up here right now. Just coming straight up. Of course, it's a little warm outside, so this might make sense. Cardboard don't burn with it. Damn! And the smoke is just coming right up into the rim. Okay, just a couple seconds later, David pushed it back into the drum, and now there's no smoke coming up here. So maybe we just had to push it back a little bit.
It sounds like the fire's sucking.
Okay. Might be starting to suck up there. I kind of hear it. I don't know. See if you can hear it.
Oh yeah. Feel the top of the drum. It's
Oh.
already warm.
Oh yeah, I feel the top of the drum is already starting to get warm. All right. Yep, it's definitely sucking back there. Good.
Yep,
Feed it some more. Just we're only putting cardboard in there right now.
Yeah, the top of the drum's already hot.
Okay. We should have got our thermostat to show everybody, but I'll do that later. This is actually pretty easy to start. And all that cardboard is really moist.
Yeah, I can almost not touch it now.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
I can feel the heat.
Guess what, guys? It's working.
The heat's already in here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not up
yeah,
here
I feel it. Cool. Do we have any leaks?
Look, it's going sideways.
Wow, that's cool. Going sideways. What if we put the cap on halfway? Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is really cool. It looks like
Right here.
we're getting a leak right here. I don't know if that's leak or steam, actually. Because of the wet. Is it smoke?
I think it's steam.
Alright.
Well, this...
Interesting. Just want to get these guys at full scale. Go ahead, feed it some more.
Alright.
Oh, you took that off. It started going back up again. Feed it some more. Let's see what it'll do. Okay, guys, this thing is really working. We do have a couple leaks that we got to worry about. We're not worried about the leaks there because that's all going to be covered up with cob. But let's go take a look outside and see what it looks like in the chimney. Okay, there's the chimney up there. A little bit of smoke coming out, not much. But it is actually pretty warm out here. I'd say 68, 69 degrees. A little bit of smoke coming out. But that's from burning cardboard too. Holy cow, guys, we heated up the flue. And the trick is you do have to shove it back in there, like underneath the barrel. But once you do that, and the flue starts heating up, it is just, it'll start sucking. I mean, you can see we don't have like no wood in there at all. That is just cardboard. And you can't even touch the barrel now.
Yeah. I
mean, it's really hot. And that was instant, like, I don't know, 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's
10 minutes
the fastest
most.
we've ever had that heat.
And all of this tuck work is hot now.
You can touch it, but...
You can touch it. But it's probably, I don't know, I'd say 100 degrees or better.
I'd probably say around, 100, 105.
And that's just from burning a couple pieces of paper or cardboard. Unbelievable. Okay, now David's back from college, and it's Labor Day weekend in September here, and we're applying the cob, the mass part of the mass rocket stove. This cob goes all over here. This batch looks, what he did is he made some clay slip, and the clay slip is going around the pipe. And David, what does that do? That seals up the...
So the clay slip basically seals up any air gaps, and whenever you put the mass over it, instead of the smoke leaking out through, the slip will catch it, and it'll just keep going through the pipe.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. Okay, this is the first real burn of the year. This is my rocket stove. It was very easy to start a fire in the cold. I got my temperature thing here. Temperature of the barrel, 213 degrees. Temperature of the wall over there, 59. It's just been too hot. That is still pretty wet. That's why it's 57 degrees. So I'm going to burn this a little bit so it warms up this the cob. That's an outside wall over here. And this is an inside wall. 60 degrees. So, and there's Flash. Jump the fence. Okay, I've been burning now in the mass rocket stove for approximately 10-15 minutes. Let me give you some temperature readings. Here's the bottom, towards the bottom of the barrel, 173 degrees. And it goes up 216. You get 272, and on top of the barrel, you get 292, 300 degrees right now. So you guys can see I put concrete sheeting because there's about 3 feet there till it hits the wood, so I put the concrete sheeting up there. So anyway, it's nice and warm in here. It's like 45 degrees outside, but it's working. I just got, here's the mass part. Like I said, this is all wet. It's still 57 degrees. So let's see what it is down here. 57. Let's look by the 89 degrees right there by the metal part of it. Let's look back here at the metal. 75 degrees back there. So yeah, it's heating up. And then the wall, let's check the wall again. 56, 56, 56, 57. So looks like it's warmer. We'll check that concrete up there. 67, right above the stove. 87, 86 degrees. So yeah, it's working. Well guys, here it is. This is called the Mass Rocket Stove, and it costs less than $200 to install. Mainly all of that's the HVAC, 8-inch HVAC. But I have complete details how to put this in a safe place in your house. But what happens is this barrel heats up, you know, and I have a temperature gauge right here. You can see the temperature right there. That's 240 degrees. The top will get like 300 and something, you know. But it goes through here, up, and then there's a, it's called a heat riser. So this is the feed tunnel, and that's the burn tunnel. And you can see the fire going in there. It's going inside here. There's a little tunnel inside. It goes up, and 2 inches, it ends 2 inches from this lid. And then the smoke goes around. It goes down the barrel. And then out this HVAC that's in all this cob right here, clear down there. There's the other clean out. And it goes back around like this and back there through the wall and up the chimney. And if you, let me give you the temperature on this right here. That's 98.5 degrees. What it's doing is it's heating up this cob. Right now it started at like 50 degrees. Now it's up to 66.2 something. Right here you can see it's 154 degrees. Over there you can see it's 88 or 92 degrees. But it heats up this whole mass, okay? Basically all cob is mud and straw. And they've been using it for thousands of years. But the temperature in here is beautiful. It was a cold morning. It was 40-some degrees. So I came down here. This is my first burn. But I'm having complete video instructions on how to make this. And so you can install it in your house. And it's really easy to put together. And free heat. This is all scrap wood, stuff I find in the woods. I got my little scrap pile right here, scrap bucket. But an armload of wood heats your house for 12 hours. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it works great.